Hallo Miners, welcome back. Let me start out this video by apologizing to some of my opponents that I played earlier this week on a Jund Initiative deck list that I told you your videos would be up on YouTube later. Unfortunately, when I had a update on my computer, all of the video that I had filmed this week prior to filming this was lost, which is what prompted me to film this deck and just do something a little bit different here. So I apologize to those opponents. I will be filming the Jund Initiative deck in the near future. So hopefully I'll get to play against all of you at that point. But on that note, today we are playing Paradoxical Outcome Storm. That is right, this is PO Storm. We are playing Vintage in Legacy today. So what I mean by that is PO Storm is a well-known vintage deck that revolves around being able to drop out a bunch of mana rocks and zero drops, bloat a bunch of mana, play Paradoxical Outcome to pick them all up, draw a whole bunch of more cards, replay all of your zero drops and your mana rocks, and hopefully you find another PO or you find like a one ring or something to keep the chain going. And basically you just draw your whole deck, play out all your cards, and depending on the format, depends on how you actually end up winning the game. I have seen some where like it's a Monastery Mentor into an extra turn spell. There's Storm versions that combo off with Tendrils of Agony or Grape Shot. This one in particular is going to win via Aetherflux Reservoir by gaining a whole bunch of life and then shooting your opponent in the face for 50. So it's a pretty typical mono blue artifact mana rock style deck. A bunch of zero drops. You've got your Grim Monoliths, your Emerys, your Force of Wills, your One Rings, stuff like that, Thought Casts. Your backup plan here is going to be an Urza Saga beatdown route because you have so many artifacts. You play a full playset of Urza Sagas, plus you've got your Lava Spruce to be able to haste those creatures in. So the whole point of this deck basically is we're just going to dump out as many artifacts as we can, pick them all up with a Paradoxical Outcome to draw a whole bunch of more cards, replay them out, and hopefully this will eventually chain its way into being able to draw our whole deck, play all of it with an Aetherflux Reservoir out on the battlefield, and shoot our opponent in the face for 50. Sideboard plan is kind of just to shore up your matchups against other stuff. You've got Consigned to Memory for other colorless decks and Eldrazi, Dismember to remove problematic creatures such as a Thalia or something that can stop you from comboing off, Pyroblast to force through your stuff against blue decks and to be able to remove those annoying frogs, a little bit of a Urza Saga tutor package that you can board in as you need stuff, Haywire Might to be able to take out problematic enchantments or artifacts that are affecting you, like a Thorn of Amethyst or something like that. Pithing Needle to shut down Wasteland. Soulguide Lantern for the graveyard-centric decks. Hydroblast to be able to fight against Mono Red Prison, which has been seeing a bit of an uptick lately, so kind of a concession to that. Also helps up against like Grixis Delver, being able to take out like a Dragon Rage Channeler or being able to stop a Pyroblast on one of your blue cards. So a little bit of tech there. Force Negation, again, for stopping unfair combo decks. And Repeal is kind of just a catch-all to bounce anything. You can use it to bounce your own thing to draw a card if you need to and replay it to build mana. Or you can also just like bounce a problematic permanent from an opponent, such as a Deafening Silence or Stony Silence or Karn or something along those lines. But anyways, let's see if we can play some Vintage and Legacy today and take PO Storm through a league. I'll catch you all in the wrap-up. Alright, we're playing Vintage and Legacy today. Round one, won the die roll. Let us paradox our way out of this. This actually is a pretty good hand overall. It's a little awkward in terms of mana colors, but it's a very good Urza Saga hand to start. So let's see if we can ride that. Okay, we're up against Eldrazi. So this is going to be interesting, to say the least. They had two Devourer of Destinies. The Urza Saga plan probably isn't going to be at its best in this matchup, but we can try. Alright, play the Saga, run out our artifacts so that if we hit blue mana, Thoughtcast is castable. There's something to be said about possibly cracking this Bauble, but I think I want to wait for now. Because we could also just get a very fast start. I mean, we'll see what our opponent does, but they are getting two of these Devourer of Destiny triggers. So let's see what they got rid of. They got rid of a Thought Knot, a Reality Smasher, so they're more on the aggro route. So this is going to be much faster. And then got rid of Ancient Tomb, another Thought Knot Seer, and an Endless one. So they are 100% on the aggro Eldrazi route. Okay, Wasteland is fine if that's all they do, because we have another one of those. We don't care about that at all. Transmute Artifact is interesting, but we don't have blue mana yet. Alright, so play the Eldrazi Saga, pass the turn. I'm curious if that Wasteland is what they had selected for. I have Ugin passing the turn. Next turn they can start doing things. We get a Lotus Petal. So we're actually in a spot where what? This costs 2? Yes, this costs 2 if we want to do that. We could also Paradoxical Outcome for 2, but we give up the ability to make a construct. I think we want to get our defenses down first, and then go from there. Eldrazi Temple, okay. Into a Glaring Fleshraker, and just passes the turn. Okay, no follow-up to the Fleshraker. I'm okay with that. Let's make our dude. Alright. Depending on what we draw, Manifold Key is interesting. I don't hate that. Let's make another dude. There's something to be said about just going aggro here, but they could also theoretically pop off from here as well. Vexing Bauble doesn't do anything here. We could grab the Lava Spur Boots and pay our mana to be able to pop off. But I think we just want a Mox Opal so that we have the ability to actually Thoughtcast here. Yeah, let's grab the Mox Opal. I think that's the correct option here. And then we can Thoughtcast, draw 2, and go from there. Thoughtcast for 1 mana, draw 2 cards. We hit a Seed of the Synod, so I like that a lot. Let's play the Seats. And we could run out Manifest. I think we actually do want to run out Manifold Key right now. And then we can Schwack in for 8. And this will allow us to theoretically go off next turn, depending on what happens here. And if we absolutely have to, we can emergency crack this Bauble so that we draw another card next turn. We also have the mana to be able to transmute Artifact into something. This could be a Myco spawn. Endless one, okay. Just a free Endless one. There's definitely a world where they could pop off here, but we'll see what happens. A Reality Smasher. Okay, my shit is still bigger than that. Alright, and they just passed the turn, so I'm a-okay with that. And my creatures are still much bigger. I'm going to force some blocks here. Into another Ancient Tomb. Alright, let's see. We can transmute Artifact here. And what would we even get? We could get a Paradox Engine, but it doesn't do anything at the moment. We could get a Aetherflux Reservoir, and that doesn't do anything either. We could get a One Ring for some card draw, but I don't think that realistically does anything here. I think our best bet is let's attack in, and then Paradoxical Outcome for the majority of our artifacts here, and see what we draw, and try to go from there. So I think we want to get in first. They're gonna have to block at least one of these. And we shouldn't have to worry about any kind of counter magic screwing us over here. Get in with Bolt. This is gonna force some blocks. I'm assuming they're either gonna chump with both of the Scions, or they're gonna throw like an Endless one in front of one of these. Yep, chump blocking with Scions, as is expected. And then since these are on defense anyways, we can bounce these with Paradoxical Outcome? Oh, it's only non-creature artifacts? Non-token permanents, okay. Yeah, let's bounce, 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 and bounce. Blue, whatever, and 2. Casual draw 4? Force of Will. We hit a One Ring, I like that. And we have the mana to be able to play it. And we have a Force of Will to be able to protect this. So I like this quite a bit. We set up for another Paradoxical Outcome next turn. So I like where we're at here. Rebuild our board a bit. Play an Ancient Tomb. Play a One Ring. We are doing quite a bit of damage to ourselves, but this will save us a turn and fog them. Let's draw off of this. A Thoughtcast we can't cast this turn. Okay, we'll pass a turn. Gotta discard some cards. Let's get rid of one of the Transmute artifacts and an Ancient Tomb. And then, like I said, we got this Force of Will to be able to stop anything too crazy from happening. And depending on what we draw, like we could transmute artifacts, the One Ring for for an Aetherflux Reservoir, and then I don't know. We'll have to see what we can do here. Unfortunately, cast triggers I can't stop. So like if they kick a Myco spawn, they can still take care of 2 of our lands, but tapping a bunch of mana for something. So what? 4, 5, 7, 8 mana. Passing the turn, okay. Alright, passing the turn here. We're going to start off by drawing with the One Ring and figure out our plan from there. What are they doing? Is this a Kozilek's command at instant speed? I mean, we have an answer for a Kozilek's command. It does get rid of one of our other blue cards. They're trying to burn us out with a Kozilek's command for 6. Sure, you can get that. I think our card draw matters the most, so I think we want to get rid of our Transmute artifact here. Alright, we do have to find a way to win this turn, though. Alright, a Bauble. We can start with that. Tap the One Ring. Another Bauble. A Paradoxical Outcome. Actually, that should just do it. We can go to 1. Yes, we can go to 1. Add the mana in. Cast Paradoxical Outcome. Or Paradox Engine. Cast Mishra's Bauble. With this on the stack, make some blue. Untap. Get this. Draw for the One Ring. Make some blue. Cast a Lotus Petal. Untap everything. Tap the One Ring again. Draw some more. Grim Monolith, I like. Make some blue. Play Grim Monolith. And I think we just win from here. It's just going to be a matter of finding our Aetherflux Reservoir. Another Grim Monolith. We can play that. So yeah, it's just going to be a matter of finding our Aetherflux Reservoir from here. Tap the Grim Monolith. Tap this for blue. Draw some more cards with the One Ring. The One Ring. Play a Grim Monolith. I also don't see another one of our whatchamacallits here yet either. A Transmute artifact can get us there as well. So we just need to find that still. Play another Grim Monolith. Whoops. Draw with the One Ring. Still no Aetherflux Reservoir yet. So let's play a Grim Monolith. This is quite click intensive. We are down to 12 cards left in the deck. I'm going to have to start getting careful with this One Ring. This will be the last time I can draw with this One Ring before I have to go play another one. There's the Aetherflux Reservoir. Alright, and now I just need to cast a bunch of 0-drops. All of these. Add colorless mana. And then I just gotta drop out all the 0s and 1-drops from my hand and just never tap the One Ring again. And our opponent sees they're dead and they scoop it up. Okay, I like it. Going into game number 2. I believe Consigned Memories. For sure. Maybe Dismember. So let's see. What do we want to do here? Emeries seem eh. We can probably take 2 of them out. I'm just debating on these Dismembers or not. Like, the only creature that I really care about is Glaring Fleshraker. So I think I do want to bring those in. Vexing Bauble. They still pay mana for most of their spells, so we probably don't need both Vexing Baubles. Maybe bring another Emery back in. Like, the only way that they pay 0 mana for anything is if they have a Eye of Ugin into Endless One. Like, we did see them do that, but that's the only thing they're spending no mana on. So I don't think we really need the Baubles. Let's try something like this. Okay, what is this? This hand doesn't really do anything, so I think we gotta ship this. This is a Force of Will and a couple of redraws and a Dismember. Is that worth keeping? Because I can Force of Will some key card here. Yeah, let's keep this. We'll put the Paradox Engine to the bottom. We don't need it yet. We'll probably Force of Will the first thing that they do and try to refill. Okay, the One Ring's pretty good. That can give us something to do if we hit more mana sources. And we are going to fire these off now in the hopes of hitting another blue card that I'd rather check the Force of Will. Oh, Cavern's annoying. Cavern and a Thought-Knot Seer. Okay. Grim Monolith. Okay. Double Grim Monolith gets down the One Ring. Unless they do that. Okay. Wasteland's pretty bad here. Into another Consign to Memory. Well, this is extremely problematic now. There's the Cavern. Okay. That one well-timed Wasteland might ruin our day, but we have a bunch of Soul Lands, so... Okay. I don't mind Seat of the Synod. This allows us to consign to memory the trigger from the Thought-Knot Seer. Eldrazi Mimic. Okay, that's fine. Another mana source here. And we can play out our hand. Okay. This lets us do things. Do this. Do this. Play a Grim Monolith. Tap a Grim Monolith. Play a Grim Monolith. Tap a Grim Monolith. Play a One Ring. And now we've got an engine online into a Lotus Petal. Okay. I don't hate this at all. We will have Consign to Memories up now. We have a Force of Will. If they try to do something other than cast a creature. Alright, just getting in with the Eldrazi Mimic. That's fine. Okay, they're stuck on mana. That's good for us. Another Force of Will looks kind of stupid right now. Okay. Bobble's fine. Ancient Tomb's fine. Let's see what they're drawing. See if they're still stuck on mana. Wastegate Battle Mage. Okay, so we definitely want to hold up our Consign to Memory because that will stop them from exiling our One Ring. Lots of Force of Wills, which look really fucking stupid right now. Were they sandbagging a land at all? It doesn't look like it. And our opponent scoops it up. Okay. Alright. I like it. Match number 1 into PO Storm. Okay. Took down Eldrazi. On to the next one. Okay, round number 2. Lost the die roll. I'll keep this. This is actually a pretty good hand. The turn 1 Emery. And hopefully that leads into something else. We got a good smattering of things to do here. So, we'll see. I would have liked to Force a Will, but I'm not about to mulligan for 1. Alright, opponent is... This could be Delver. This could be some kind of artifact deck. I'm leaning toward Delver. They were bobbling themselves to see if they wanted to... whatchamacallit here. Okay, yeah, it's Delver. Nethergoyf is whatever. It's not good for us, but they're also down a bunch of cards. They are going to get a redraw off of this bobble. We can play around a Daze, no problem. Into a bobble of our own. Let's play out our Emery. See what we mill into our graveyard. Lava Spur Boots. Ew, we lost 2 Urza Sagas. That's a little awkward. I think I do want to bobble here. I'm so far away from being able to get anything relevant, and it gives me something to replay out of the graveyard, especially if they're about to just wasteland this land out from under me. I definitely think that the draw is important here. Yep. Had a feeling that was going to go away. It doesn't make the Nethergoyf any bigger, which is nice. However, it does turn on Revolt for Fatal Push, which they do have, so our opponent just had everything. Okay. That does increase the size of the Nethergoyf. So this is just Dimir Delver. Which I think, like, we still have a shot to be able to do stuff. A Manifold Key I like. We'll play this out. Play out Petal. They look like they're debating if they want to counter this Petal or not. Petal resolves. We'll play out Manifold Key. A Soul Land to get down the One Ring around a Daze would be great. That was our opponent having literally everything they needed without any kind of manipulation whatsoever. Okay, well, there goes the One Ring. Yeah, our opponent has literally had absolutely everything without even needing to manipulate their deck whatsoever. Clearly somebody paid their MTGO premium subscription. There is something to be said about they might just take the Aetherflux Reservoir because... Okay, I was going to say they might take the Aetherflux Reservoir because that really is like our only win con. And they just drop another Nethergoyf. Okay. This one's probably lost, unfortunately, but we'll see. Transmute Artifact, that doesn't do anything. I think we've got one more draw before we're just out of this game entirely. Because we're taking 8 this turn at a minimum. And there's their first cantrip of the game. Chose not to shuffle off of that Ponder. Alright, Ponder into Ponder. Just cantripping away. I'm not sure what we can get here that actually will get us through this, but we will see. Like, I really don't know if we have a single draw that can get us out of this. Land allows us to PO for 1. And yeah, we're just dead. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Like I said, our opponent just had the absolute everything right off of the bat without even needing to manipulate their deck at all. So sometimes that happens. For sideboard, we want Pyroblasts for sure. Pyroblasts are an absolute yes. There's something to be said about Pithing Needle for Wasteland. Wouldn't be terrible. We can also shut off some of their graveyard stuff with the Soul Guide Lantern if we want to. Force of Negation is kind of eh. Repeal might not be terrible. Against what our opponent's doing, we can probably take out the Spell Bomb. Trim 1 Emery. Yeah, let's try this. Let's bring in the Pyroblasts. Trim 1 Emery, trim the Spell Bomb, and let's try something like that. Well, yeah, let's try that. Okay, here we go. I actually like this a lot. We're going to keep this. This is a turn 1 Emery, which we're going to start with. And hopefully this gets followed up by a Vexing Bauble into doing stuff. Alright, Emery's down. There's a Bauble in the graveyard. I can pop Petals to ramp. I've got multiple card draw spells, which I like. And if they just kill the Emery with a Fatal Push here... No, not a Fatal Push, okay. Dismember, okay. A removal spell, but at least it's one that hurt them. Transmute Artifact. Let's go ahead and drop Thoughtcat, or the Bauble. So Force of Wills and Dazes should be off now. And I can Thoughtcast next turn. Netherglyph, okay. Alright, hopefully Thoughtcast can start drawing us into some shit. Into a Bauble. Okay, this makes Thoughtcast literally only oh, wait, nope, never mind, I'm an idiot. Whatever. I'm dumb, it's fine. Thoughtcast for 2. I am dumb, I screwed that up. Into a Thoughtcast and the One Ring? That is not good. Alright, I need like a Soul Land, basically. Or if I hit a Seed of the Synod, I can always Thoughtcast again. It looks like they're probably just holding up a Force of Negation now. Oh my god, deck, come on. Alright. I'm guessing this might be a Bowmaster they're flashing in, or they could be flashing in a... I'll say it could be a Brazen Borrower. They like whatever they had. Put it on top. Okay, Thoughtseize. That means the One Ring's probably gone. If I had to take a guess. No. Yes, the One Ring is gone. Okay. And they're still holding up a Force of Negation. And luckily this is only a 3/4 for right now. Another the One Ring. Okay. At a certain point, we're going to have to just crack this Bauble and hope for the best. Okay, just flashing in a Brazen Borrower. They just want to make their clock as fast as possible. Which is understandable. We are kind of just in a point now where it's like, Hail Mary. We are going to go ahead and crack this Bauble here. Because at this point, it's Soul Land plus Force of Will is like our only hope here. Into a Thoughtcast. Yeah, we're just dead here. This was the deck just bottoming out super fast. That's unfortunate. But it is what it is. So, alright, on to the next one. Okay, I like this hand. I actually like this hand a lot. This is a quick Paradox Engine. I don't have any defense, but we're going to go ahead and keep this. Opponent's mulliganing to 6. Mulliganing to 5. Hopefully they're not some kind of unfair combo deck that can turn 1 me here. Alright, opponent kept on 5. Mox Diamond, okay. This could be lands, this could be Eldrazi. Talon Gates of Madeira. Okay, so they are the, like, Eldrazi post deck? Or not? Interesting. There's some kind of Loam deck. Do they have another Mox Diamond? No. Okay. Well, we shouldn't have to worry about counter magic, at least, is what I'm getting here. We're gonna go ahead and just play the Grim Monolith. I could start out with the Urza Saga, but I want to get my mana under me to be able to play Paradox Engine next turn, no matter what happens, and then be able to start doing stuff with the Bauble. and possibly start just popping off. Okay, so it's Eldrazi Tron stuff. Alright, Life from the Loam back, all that stuff. Into an Ancient Tomb, which is fine. Okay. So we are going to be able to get down our Paradox engine. And then it's going to be a matter of what can we do with it. Into a Bauble. Alright. Let's go ahead and play Urza Saga. Get down Paradox engine. Play the Bauble. Untap a bunch of shit. We can't do anything with the mana this turn. If they Thoughtseize me here, I don't really care. They could have a decent amount of mana, though, so let's go ahead and do this, just in case I can hit a Force of Will. Oh, Karn is terrible for me here. Okay, I need to hit something big here. Because Karn is absolutely terrible for what we have going on here, unless they Dredge. Which they might Dredge. Okay. The hope is that since they have the Life from the Loam in the graveyard, they're gonna keep dredging. Or that one of these hits a Force of Will. Alright, Transmute Artifact. No, they chose to naturally draw. That's very bad for us. And now, yep, there's Karn. However, we will be able to pressure the Karn here, which is nice. What are they gonna find is the question. Is this just going to be a Mycosynth Garden? Or is this going to be... or a Mycosynth Lattice? Or what are they going to get here? We do have blue mana. Haywire Might. Okay. That could have been a lot worse. And we are going to be able to pressure the Karn. Depending on what happens here. Another Ancient Tomb. The problem with the Sink into Stupor is I need two, whatchamacallit, two blue to be able to do anything with it. So we're just going to go ahead and cast this, and I don't think I have two blue non-artifact mana sources. Chose not to Dredge again, that's bad. Wasteland, okay. Alright, there's Haywire Might. I'm assuming that's probably going to go after the Paradox engine, and then they're going to Wasteland the Urza Saga. Okay, they're just ticking up the Karn because they want it to be able to live. Understandable. Alright, well, we're making dudes. Yep, that was to be expected. Another Urza Saga, I like that. However, they could just blow that up with a Might, so I probably should have attacked before playing that. What? Are they just blowing it up now? Yeah, I fucked that up. I should have, attacked first. So that they block with the Haywire Might, then blow it after one of these, and then play the Urza Saga. But, yeah, going after that, that's kind of to be expected at this point. That was a misplay on my part. It's fucking late. Alright, I think we're probably going to have to go to the next game here. I don't think we're clawing our way out of this one, but we will see. If they just don't have a way to deal with this Talon Gates of Madeira, they get rid of this... Yeah, we'll give it one more draw step. If we don't hit another Urza Saga, I think we're going to just scoop it up and go to the next one. Alright, opponent's doing something here. The One Ring? Okay, yeah, we're just going to go to the next one. Them not dredging over that Karn was terrible for us. But now we know. So, we're bringing in the Force of Negations for sure. Consign to Memory for sure. Consign to Memories, yes. Repeal, yes. Force of Negations, yes. We can get rid of Pyrite Spellbomb and Vexing Baubles. Probably get rid of an Emery or two. And then we probably don't need Lava Spur Boots, I don't think. I don't think we're going to get a Construct win here, so let's bring those in, take those out, and try that. This is sadly not keepable. We will keep this. This sort of kind of goes off a little bit. So we will keep this. We will put the Transmute Artifact back. We will lead off with the Island into Mox Opal. Next turn, Urza's Saga. Grim Monolith, Mox... yeah. Land, yeah. Basically, we're going to pop off this PO on turn 2, is what the plan is here. And they can't wasteland us off of this plan because we're going to start with an island. And I am going to play out the Mox Opal just in case they have, like, Vexing Bauble for some reason. because it is kind of key to our plan here. Okay, opponent kept on 5. Alright, play out the island, cast the Mox Opal, and pass the turn. I don't think they would have a high enough green count to justify Force of Vigor, but Force of Vigor would kind of wreck us a little bit. Planar Nexus, so they theoretically could Karn next turn, depending on what happens here. Okay, Force of Will, I like. Grim Monolith. Grim Monolith. And this actually does leave mana up as well. We are going to have 1 extra mana when this is all said and done. And it's a draw 3. Okay, I like that. Play Lotus Petal. Play Chrome Mox. The question is do we trust this Thoughtcast to get us what we need? Or do we wait so that we have the ability to Force a Will if we need to? Because with the Thoughtcast whiffs, we don't have shit going on. I think we're going to wait. We need to be able to cast this Force of Will to stop a Karn, because if Karn comes down and resolves, we're just fucked. Because if this ends up being like Tower Karn, Tower, okay. A Mox Diamond, okay. Chucking another Planar Nexus. 3 mana, 4 mana. Sowing Myco Spawn, okay. That's fine. I don't really care about that. I'm gonna guess they try to find another tower to have 4 mana still? No, Wasteland to go after Urza Saga. Okay, that's actually kind of okay. I don't really care about that much. Because we can still Thoughtcast to draw some cards. We still have the ability to kind of go off. The One Ring. That might be better, actually. That actually probably is better. Play the One Ring. Or play Grim Monolith. Tap Monolith. Pop for mana. Play the One Ring. And then this gets a card draw engine online into another Mox Opal. Again, we need to hold up the Thoughtcast Force of Will, just in case they find a Karn. And the One Ring is a way to keep fuel in our hand as well. And we do fog them for a turn, so... Another Wasteland, that's fine. I don't super care about that. 5 mana. Is this a kicked Myco spawn? Yes. So they can get rid of our basic here, which actually doesn't really matter either. Because I've still got the mana to be able to do a 1 mana Thoughtcast. I'm drawing multiple cards per turn. And they just found another Urza's Tower, which is fine. Okay, we're still in a decent spot here. We do need to find some action, but we're in an okay spot overall. Another Grim Monolith, okay. Lotus Petal Force Negation. Okay, that makes me feel much better about casting this Thoughtcast now. Into a Paradox Engine. This Urza Saga is just gonna die. And I don't have enough mana to be able to do this turn. But I think letting the Saga die for the sake of being able to Paradox Engine next turn is worth it. Cast the Saga. Cast the Petal. Because this is going to leave me a Mox Opal open next turn as well. Play Grim Monolith. Okay, and I've got Force Negation up. The Urza Saga is going to die, which is fine. This should be able to get us where we need to go here, assuming that they don't draw something just absolutely nutty over there. Like, we can take 6. That's totally fine. I don't care about that at all. Yep, takes out the Urza Saga. That's fine. Into an Echoing Deeps. I'm guessing to copy Wasteland? No, they're copying my Urza Saga. Okay. Okay, so we should be able to just pop off now. Assuming we don't just absolutely brick on these One Ring draws. And we do not. Okay. Let's start with Ancient Tomb. Oh, I did that in my upkeep. Oops. Okay. And we turn it into Saga. That's fine. And we should just win from here. Play a Paradox Engine. Make a blue. Cast a Mox Opal. Untap everything. Make some mana. We'll keep the new one. Tap, tap, tap. Make some blue mana. Draw with the One Ring. Play Aetherflux Reservoir. And now we just go to town. Okay. We are running a little low on some stuff here, but our opponent's just like, haha, sick. Yes, this is Paradoxical Outcome Storm, friend. I think they scooped it? Client's lagging a bit here. Okay, yeah, they scooped it. All right, on to the next one. Took that down. So, again, it's basically just we need to keep Karn off of the battlefield, and that's all that really matters. Yeah, we'll just run it back. Okay, I actually like this. We have Consign to Memory plus Force of Negation and a bunch of redraws. And if we have to, we have both Consign and Force. So I think we're going to keep this. We're both keeping on 7. Just chatting with the opponent a little bit. They're saying, like, hell yeah, PO Storm. It's asking me how it's been treating me so far. Alright, so opponent started out with Urza's Tower into Mox Diamond, chucking a Talon Gates, and passing the turn. Okay. So we've still got a bunch of stuff open to be able to do dumb stuff, which I like. Alright, a Bobble, so we can play this, just run out our hand, and we're basically just going to get a bunch of redraws here. Alright, let's see what they got going on over there. They got something in their hand. The One Ring, we can counter that. They're drawing a Wasteland, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. We are drawing a Paradoxical Outcome, so depending on what we draw, we might be able to do some dumb stuff. And we are drawing 3 cards here. Double Paradoxical Outcome, we need some mana. Lotus Petal is mana, but it's not the mana I'm looking for, unfortunately. Alright, there's the Wasteland. I'm assuming they are... Oh, no. Really? Crop rotation for what? Probably for Planar Nexus? Do I want to force this? Yes, I think I do. Let's pitch one of our POs. And we still have Consign to Memory up. Disruptor Flute... Do we care about that yet? No, I don't think so. We have the Sink into Super, so we can always do that. They're not going to name the One Ring because they have the One Ring. I'm assuming this is to name Aetherflux Reservoir? No, Grim Monolith. Okay. Which is fine. That just means that I can't manually untap it, which I'm actually kind of okay with. And there's an Aetherflux Reservoir. I think we just play out the Lotus Petal, play out the Sink into Stupor, and I will actually shock that in. Alright, opponent seems to be passing the turn. We did manage to successfully mana screw them, which I like. Alright. Give me some good stuff, deck. Thoughtcast. Okay, this costs 2? Yes. And I still have Consign to Memory up if I need it. Okay, I like the Grim Monolith. So we will run this out. And then next turn, we will attempt to go off with Grim Monolith. Like I said, we have the Consign to Memory up if we absolutely need it. Alright, there's a Mox Diamond. They're getting some more mana, finally. They just had a redundant Urza's Tower that they were sandbagging. Either that, or they just drew that and they decided the Mox Diamond was more important. Alright. This should be the turn we can kind of start going off doing dumb shit here. Ooh, and the One Ring. Do I want to play the One Ring first? No. Oh, Grim Monolith costs more to cast now. Okay, that's why they did it. Got it. Okay, undo. Cancel this. I forgot this makes it cast 2 more? No, 3 more. Okay. Let's just play the One Ring then, and we can still hold up, whatchamacallit? I forgot this makes the spell cost more too. So we need mana. Some lands, ideally. Okay, that's a land. I like that. I think we're going to hold on to it for next turn, because we still want to be able to hold up Consign to Memory. I don't want them to wasteland the Ancient Tomb out from under me. I'd rather them wasteland something else. Alright, Planar Nexus. They're not casting a One Ring of their own. That's surprising. We know they have the One Ring in their hand, so I'm very surprised they're not casting it. Alright, let's draw some cards. See where we can go from here. A whole bunch of Ancient Tombs. Okay. We are going to go ahead and PO, picking these back up. I don't think we want to pick up the One Ring yet. This is a small PO. Hold on, I want to make mana first. Undo. Cancel. Make blue mana first. Alright. Then we want to PO Storm these 2. Done. And we will just do this. We will leave our 1 blue up. So we know one of the cards in their hand is the One Ring. I don't know what the other card is. Is it a Force of Vigor? Yes. Targeting those two things. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Is there anything I want to do here? Do I care about the mana? No. Okay, that's fine. This leaves up the mana to be able to consign their One Ring, and then we just start doing more stuff next turn. So we know the last card in their hand is the One Ring. And we will absolutely snap off a consigned memory on that. Yep, there we go. Cast it. And now, I don't know what their last card in hand is. And now we do need this One Ring to start drawing us some good shit here. Otawara, okay. So, do we have the mana to go off here? It's going to cost 4 to bounce this. I can also transmute artifact something if I need to. Alright, so I can pay 4, bounce this. I think this works. So, well, no, because I can flash it back in. So it doesn't actually accomplish anything here. However, I've got 6, pay 4, drop Aetherflux Reservoir, play Mox Opal. And I can transmute artifact for something. Transmute artifacts. Okay, yeah, I think we're good here. We'll play that. They're F6. And I have mana. I haven't played a land yet this turn, so I could PO, bounce those things back, or I could transmute artifact away the Mox Opal for a key, which I think is probably the best option here. Yeah, let's do that. Make blue, transmute artifact. I still haven't played a land yet this turn. Let's get rid of Mox Opal. Go grab a Manifold Key. Cast it. Unfortunately, I am going... I mean, I don't have a consigned to memory anyways. Oh, I didn't act... I played a land already this turn? I guess I did. Okay, well, I guess I'm shields down for a turn. Hopefully they don't have a Karn. If they have a Karn, our entire plan falls apart here. I thought I still had a land drop, but apparently not. No, I did play Ancient Tomb at the beginning of the turn. Okay. Alright, it's Fade Karn for a turn. Any Eldrazi they play is fine. It's literally just Fade Karn. Well, I suppose I actually do have a way to bounce a Karn. It's just going to use a lot of mana and hurt a lot. Alright, the opponent is back. They were thinking through their turn, trying to figure out what to do. Alright, let's go. Are they flashing in a Disruptor Flute? What are they flashing in? Are they Otawara-ing our One Ring? What? Well, okay. I'm not 100% sure what our opponent was doing there, but okay. Alright, I have a Transmute artifact, so let's just draw some cards and see where this goes. Okay, now they're doing something. Oh, they're just gonna Otawara it? Let's untap it and draw some extra cards. Okay, yeah, we are good as far as that's concerned. We will gladly take the One Ring back. What the fuck do we want to do here? I guess let's start out with playing the One Ring. The fact that we can't really do anything with these Grim Monoliths is mildly annoying. Alright, we got protection, so we can play stuff for free. Or we can tap our Ancient Tombs without taking damage this turn. Another PO. We have a whole bunch of Grim Monoliths we literally can't do anything with here. Let's play Emery. Force of Will, the One Ring, Emery. Let's play an Ancient Tomb. And then I guess we will pass the turn. And let's get rid of all of these Monoliths I can't play anyways. And get rid of a Urza Saga? Where are all of my 0 drops? Alright, so as long as I can't get rid of the Emery, we're going to go ahead and just get back probably a Mox Opal, if we're being honest here. Alright. Ooh, they're taking that. Okay, that's actually better. If they went after this and then played a Karn, we literally were shut off of blue mana for the rest of the game, unless we could find our one-of basic island. Alright, I need some 0 drops here. Okay, I like the Force of Will. There's Paradox Engine. Okay. Take a bunch of damage. Play out Paradox Engine. And now we are going to get Mox Opal back, and now we just start going to town. Okay, now we get to do dumb things. Alright, and our opponent gave us the GGs. Oh, man, what? Oh no! Moto crashed! Well, I'm sorry, opponent. I was sending you the GGs if you see this. Hopefully it got through before Moto crashed, but we picked that one up. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, on to round 4. Lost a die roll. My green screen does not like when it gets dark out, apparently. Okay, I actually like this a lot. We're gonna keep this. This is a turn 2 Paradox Engine and a Force of Will. So, we're gonna keep this and hope that we find a payoff, basically. Up against Eldrazi again, okay. Do we find a payoff spell? No, but we found another untap, so I'm actually pretty comfortable running out Mishra's Bauble now that we have another untap. And then let's see what our opponent's drawing here. Okay, Cavern of Souls, so unless it's a Flesh Raker, so these Force of Wills are very quickly going to be useless. They are Once Upon a Timing though, so I guess we're going to see what they're grabbing off of this Cavern of Souls. If they decide to grab Cavern of Souls. Or they decide to grab something else. No, they got Blast Zone. Okay. So the Force of Wills might still be live. They don't know we're a blue deck yet. Hey, baby girl. We drew a Mox Opal. Okay. So basically, I just... Oh, they already had a Cavern of Souls. That's why. Okay. Is this a Flesh Raker? It looks like it, yes. Okay, Glaring Flesh Raker. We can't counter that, unfortunately. Can't counter a Lotus Petal. I mean, we could, but it's kind of pointless here. So basically, I just need a payoff spell here. A PO would be good. The One Ring would be the absolute best thing possible. Another Ancient Tomb is not what I was looking for. Play Paradox Engine. I'm going to hold on to our land here. Like, we're going to hold on to that. And I think we're going to keep both of the untaps in our hand for now. And we basically just need a payoff spell now. Like I said, a PO is fantastic. A One Ring is fantastic. Transmute Artifact works. There are lots of things that work here. Alright, Blast Zone's played out. They have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. They could kick a Myco Spawn, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. Or are they playing... Okay, no, there we go. I'm assuming this is a kicked Myco Spawn. Which, again, not the end of the world. Okay. Yeah, kicked Myco Spawn. They're going to get rid of both of our lands, but we have multiple untaps. And like I said, I think a PO would probably be the absolute best thing we could get here. That's totally fine. We're seriously just a payoff spell away from being able to win here. Alright, opponent gets in with a Glaring Flesh Raker. That's fine. Alright, give me a payoff spell deck. Grim Monolith. That doesn't really do it, but we're going to go ahead and run stuff out just so I can hard cast a Force of Will against a whatchamacallit. Actually, we're not going to do that. I was going to cast that, but we're going to hold on to it. I can hard cast a Force of Will if they decide to try to, like, Cozy's command me out of the game or something, but I'm still at the point now where I basically just need a payoff spell. So yeah, if they try to cast a big Kozilek's command, I can at least counter that. And realistically, I've got one draw step to find it. So, like I said, PO, Transmute Artifact, the One Ring, any of those three, so that's, what, 10 hits out of the deck, are legitimate. Okay, this is a Kozilek's command, so this is exactly what I wanted to happen. We will take our 1, and then I will hard cast this Force of Will on the Kozilek's command. Because they were trying to burn me out there. And now I've got this one draw step to get out of this, basically. So I need a payoff spell deck. Payoff spell? Okay, Thoughtcast works. Let's make a bunch of mana. Cast Thoughtcast. There we go. There's the PO, baby. Alright, we're off to the fucking races now. That was exactly what we were looking for. Alright, off to the races. Tapping a bunch of shit. Untapping a bunch of shit. I have so much mana, I am going to bounce the Paradox Engine back to my hand as well. Because I can easily replay it. Oh, I should have made some mana there, but I don't think it really matters. We have so much mana that it doesn't. And now we're fucking good. We got the Transmute Artifact as well. So we can just go get whatchamacallit, Aetherflux Reservoir now, and I've got another PO. So we are absolutely fucking golden. We can play a Mishra's Bauble. Then we're going to Transmute Artifact the Mishra's Bauble away. Transmute Artifact. Sacrifice the Mishra's Bauble. Let's tap these for mana, because we are going to have to pay for it. Sacrifice the Mishra's Bauble. Go grab Aetherflux Reservoir. Pay for it. Cast a Mox Opal. And now we just pop off from here. We're already at 11 spells. And this is the win, baby. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Boom, boom, boom. Cast a Lotus Petal. Untap a bunch of stuff. And then the Thought Cast alone does it. Do blue mana. Cast a Thought Cast. That alone gets me everything that I need. That's 55. Shoot you for 50? Alright, we got there against Eldrazi. I like it. Okay, so against what they're doing, we need to bring in Consign to Memories for sure. And probably the Dismembers again. Let's take out Vexing Baubles. And Force of Will looks kinda dumb, if we're being completely honest. Honestly, so does Pyrite Spellbomb. So Vexing Baubles, Pyrite Spellbomb. And let's trim one Force of Will. Like, once they get a Cavern down, these forces are just absolutely fucking pointless. So let's bring in Consigns, Dismembers, take out one Force, the Vexing Baubles, and a Pyrite Spellbomb. And let's try that. Okay, I like this. This is a very good hand to start. Yeah, we will keep this. Because we can turn one, seat, drop everything, Thoughtcast, and then still hold up Consign to Memory. Alright, opponent mulligan to 5. A Vexing Bauble does kind of just shut this hand down. Alright, Cavernous Souls right off the bat. But no Vexing Bauble, so I feel good about that. Aetherflux Reservoir, okay. Bauble, Mox Opal. I can play out Key, so that Thoughtcast only costs 1. Next turn, yeah, we're gonna tap the seat so that we don't lose access to our colors and Metalcraft and all that good stuff. We're gonna hold on to the Bauble for now, because whatever they do, we can Consign to Memory the trigger. Null Rod, okay, that is counterable. Okay, that was big. Hopefully that was what their entire hand was based on, was just that one Null Rod. Let's Thoughtcast, draw some extra cards. Let's play Urza's Saga. Bauble. Bauble. See what you're drawing. Ancient Tomb. See a random card from your hand. Thought Not Seer. And what is what we're drawing? Sink into Stupor. Okay. So we know we're getting at least one blue card. Okay, I like Dismember. I like Dismember a lot. And we hit a Force of Will. Okay. So if they have a backup Null Rod, we have that covered. And then we can just start making Urza's Construct tokens. Alright, they're mana screwed. I like it. Okay. And another Thoughtcast. I like that. How much does this cost? 2? Okay. Let's start out with Ancient Tomb. I can make a dude now, and that turns Thoughtcast into a 1-drop. I think I like that. Let's do this. Make a dude. Now I can Thoughtcast for 1. Consign to Memory and the One Ring. Okay, yeah, we got this. I think we got this no problem, honestly. We have Force of Will and Consign to Memory to stop any triggered or actual spells themselves. And we're going to have 2 Construct tokens here. Alright, opponent got an Ivugan. That's fine. Okay, they did have a Glaring Fleshraker. That's also fine. I don't think I want to dismember the Fleshraker yet. Since I have another one, what do we want to get here? I think here, I want to say we're honestly just on the aggro plan at this point, so let's just grab the Lava Spur Boots, if we're being completely honest here. Let's equip, and then we'll figure out our turn from here. They're down to 7. Yeah, we're just gonna hold up everything. Like, if they hit a land so that they can Thought Not Seer, we'll probably just consign the ETB on the Seer, and then dismember it. Or they're just making it so I can counter it. That's interesting. Why did they not tap that mana? That seems like a mistake. Well, we're going to counter it while we can because they tapped their mana wrong. And we pick it up. All right, positive record is locked. I like it. On to the next one. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with my computer. It's having issues in terms of, like, not responding. I think my mouse kind of just sucks, if we're being completely honest. It's, like, only responding when I click half the time. But unfortunately, it did not register me recording this match. So we're going to play the replay. This is the final match of the league. We are going into the round, losing the die roll. This hand, I decide I'm going to keep. I'm thinking, okay, Urza's Saga into Vexing Bauble, into Urza's Saga, into Grim Monolith, plus hopefully we find some blue mana to do something from here. So that's my game plan as far as this is concerned. Opponent starts out with a Polluted Delta, Underground Sea, Nethergoyf. I'm like, okay, so this is going to be Dimir Delver of some kind, or Grixis Delver, or something. All right. Draw a Bauble for turn. I'm like, okay, this doesn't really change my plan. I'll just play out both of my Baubles before I do anything else. And then play out Vexing Bauble. They daze it, so clearly it means they've got forces. They got something else they want. I'm like, okay, well, I can't do anything anyways. We'll pass the turn. I'm going to crack my Baubles on their upkeep because I saw black. I know there's discard. We see Underground Sea on theirs. We see another Urza's... Or we saw two cards off of them, sorry. We saw Bauble and Underground Sea. They play Volcanic, so we know they're on Grixis now. They get in for pokies with the Nethergoyf. They draw one, we draw two. We draw the Bauble. We draw Force of Will. So we're like, okay, well, we can actually Force of Will something through now, but this isn't really changing anything. They cared about the Bauble in the first place, so let's go ahead and play it again. Force pitching Force to get rid of their Bauble. Or get rid of the Bauble. I'm like, okay, that's not a huge deal. That now means that my forces are online. I just need blue mana to really be able to start popping off here. They draw a Wasteland, take out the Saga with the fewer tokens because they're figuring this Urza Saga is going to go away anyways. Play out their Bauble. They're just making their Goyf still the same size at this point. They're just kind of cycling through their deck, trying to find stuff. I'm not seeing anything that's worth Force Willing at this point. So we just pass the turn. They get their Bauble draw. We end up drawing a Lotus Petal. So, I mean, it's blue mana to try to do something with. So I decide what my plan is I'm going to grab another Petal as well because I need mana. And I'm going to work my way to, all right, play Grim Monolith this turn. Next turn, worst case scenario, PO for one, pick up the Grim Monolith. So that's what I'm going for through this round. I have the Force of Will as a backup. I debated about seeing if there was something I could transmute Artifact for, but I don't have the mana to actually do anything with it. So, opponent plays out the Underground Sea we know about. Nethergoyf Part 2. Get in for punches again. They pass the turn. 2 cards in hand. So, I know that it's relatively clear if I draw something worth of shit here. And I draw an Urza Saga, which really doesn't do me any good. But I'm like, okay, whatever. Theoretically, I could try making some construct tokens or something. It is mana to hopefully replay stuff off of the Paradoxical Outcome. Pass the turn. Opponent gets in. I have one draw step left to be able to find a way out of this. Plus the Paradoxical Outcome. Opponent starts tapping. I'm like, okay, this is Murktide. My fight is not over Murktide. My fight is going to be resolving my payoff spell, whatever that ends up being. I draw an Ancient Tomb. I'm like, all right, it's more mana, but I really need more blue mana. I do what I said I was going to do, and I PO for one to grab the Grim Monolith. I end up hitting a Mox Opal, which I then do all of my math. I don't have 2 blue to transmute anything. I could replay this Grim Monolith, but I've got a counter spell. Don't have a second blue for the transmute artifact, and I'm dead on board. So I end up scooping it up. We go to the sideboard. The way that I sideboard is I bring in the 2 Pyroblasts. I forget what else I brought in, but I brought in 4 cards, took out 2 Emeries. I brought in a Soul Guide Lantern, the 2 Pyroblasts, and something else. I took out 2 Emeries, and I forget exactly what else, but yeah, that was game 1, so I will catch y'all in game 2. Alright, game 2 on the play. I decide that the first hand doesn't have enough mana to do anything with, so I ship it instantly. Second hand, I'm like, okay, this is good. We can turn 1, Island, Bauble, Emery. Turn 2, Urza's Saga, Grim Monolith, and I have Sink into Super to try to bounce something. So I'm like, okay, this is keepable. Or sorry, I actually put Sink into Super back. So I'm like, okay, well, let's do the thing. We're going to play turn 1 Emery, see how that goes. Play the Emery. Apparently it's worth the Force of Will, and we get a consigned memory out of it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to count that as a win. Let's go. Pass the turn. At this point, I decide I'm going to crack my Bauble, because I don't actually need it anymore for Metalcraft or anything. And it's a repeat of last game where it's just turn 1, Underground Sea, Nethergoyf, Bobble, but they have a second Bobble, so they're going to draw 2, I'm going to draw 2. We're both going to have 4 cards in hand after this draw step. But I'm like, okay, well, my plan is still just exactly the same. I draw Pyroblast in the One Ring. My logic here is I'm going to slam the Grim Monolith, able to protect it with Pyroblast. I debated about playing the One Ring here, but I'm like, no, I will wait until I can play the One Ring with the Pyroblast backup. So I pass the turn. Opponent plays a Bloodstained Mire, gets in for punchies with Nethergoyf, and then just passes the turn. So I'm pretty sure they have counter magic of some sort that's up. I draw Mishra's Bauble, and I still do what I'm going to say. I'm going to slam the One Ring, protect it with a Pyroblast. Opponent goes to force it, pitching another force. So I get 2 forces out of hand. I Pyroblast. The One Ring resolves. I get to Fog for a turn. I draw. It's a Grim Monolith. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a ton of mana next turn. I see they have a Brainstorm off of my Bauble. So I'm going to get to draw for the Bauble, draw for turn, draw 2 off of the One Ring. And I basically just need a payoff spell. First one is a Seed of the Synod. So I'm like, okay, well, at least it's mana. Opponent does their Brainstorm, plays an Underground Sea, gets in with a Nethergoyf even though I have protection. I don't know if they just weren't paying attention or were like, screw it, I'll just do it anyways. It's not like they had to block anything. Untap, upkeep. Draw for turn is PO. I'm like, sweet. That is my payoff spell right there. I get a Mox Opal for more mana. Draw the One Ring off of this. I'm like, all right, well, it's go time. I don't have protection for a counter spell, but I'm going to PO for as big as I can here, and if it doesn't work, then I'll just do it again next turn. PO resolves. So now I just start going off, just running through my deck here. They consign that one. And I'm like, okay, I could force this to force it through, but I can't keep going any further this turn anyways. I'd rather wait until next turn to be able to play the other Grim Monolith and really start going off when I have more draws off of the One Ring. So I could have fought over that consign, but I decided it wasn't worth it. I decided that, like, a PO or a Paradox Engine or something was worth the fight of the Force of Will instead. And I wasn't dead on board yet anyway, so I'm like, screw it, whatever. I'm doing my thing. So I'm like, all right, well, we're going to draw in, and there's the Paradox Engine, which I'm like, okay, this is what I saved my Force of Will for. Slam Paradox Engine, and now I just start churning through the deck because I had enough mana to be able to cast a Soul Guide Lantern to untap everything as well. Go after the land in the yard just to shrink the Nethergoyf, even though it doesn't really matter at this point because I'm like almost guaranteed to win here. And they see that I've got basically infinite at this point, and they scoop it up, and we go on to game number 3, which I don't change the sideboard at all, and I just run it right back. All right, final round, final game. It's 1-1 going in. I decided to keep my first hand because I'm like, okay, this is really good. This is turn 1, Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith, Mox Opal, Urza's Bauble. Turn 2, Urza's Bauble, PO for at least 3, and hopefully I'll get a blue card for a Force of Will to back it up. So I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, I'm also doing some Urza Saga stuff here. But opponent, Underground Sea, Mishra's Bauble, passes the turn. So I'm like, okay, they've got counter magic of some sort, or some sort of counterplay. They draw for their Bauble. I draw the One Ring. I'm like, okay, that's a way to go forward as well. But I kind of just stick with what I was planning on doing anyways, which is Ancient Tomb, run out the Opal, the Urza's Bauble, play Grim Monolith. They're tapping mana. They Brainstorm. At this point, the Grim Monolith resolves. I'm like, okay, they were searching for a counterspell and they didn't have it because they wanted to fight over the Grim Monolith. If that resolved, it means they don't have counterspells. We're good to go. I'm slamming the One Ring here. So turn 1, I managed to get 6 mana onto the battlefield and a One Ring, and I draw Thought Cast. So I have something to pitch to Force of Will while still keeping Paradoxical Outcome up. So I'm like, okay, I'm in a great spot here. Opponent Bloodstained Mire, fetch, plays a Psychic Frog. I could counter that, but my logic at this point is like, I'm not winning through combat. I don't care about that. This Force of Will is all about forcing my combo through. So I'm like, screw it. Frog will do it. It won't be able to kill me before I can probably kill them. It can stay on the battlefield. I don't care. Draw the Aetherflux Reservoir, so now I can really start going off. I'm like, okay, Aetherflux Reservoir, Manifold Key, PO, we're going to the races here, and I have a Force of Will for backup, so I tap everything, PO for all of the artifacts other than the One Ring to draw 4. Opponent doesn't have it. This means they don't have counter spells. We're just going to start running stuff out. I realize I can't keep going forever based off of what we have here, but if I replay everything out, I can get everything plus the Aetherflux Reservoir out. And now I'm sitting in hand with Thoughtcast, PO, 2 forces, 2 blue cards. I'm pretty much set up to be able to just win next turn, assuming nothing goes crazy here. And they don't have enough cards in hand to be able to kill me with Psychic Frog. They do decide to chuck 1 to the Frog here. And they chuck an Underground Sea. They get in, they get their card. I'm like, all right, at this point, I don't give a shit what they do. I just got to be able to untap and start going crazy. I do decide to protect the Manifold Key from the Molten Collapse, though. That is one thing I was willing to do because this is our true mana acceleration right here. This also allows us to untap the One Ring if we start fizzling. So I did decide that one of the forces was worth it for protecting Manifold Key. I did not care about the Wasteland taking out our land. At this point, Urza Saga was just mana. We were not doing anything with Construct, so I was totally fine with that getting Wastelanded. But I figure I have another Force of Will and another blue card. I'm not using Transmute Artifact because I got everything I need on the battlefield anyways, other than Paradox Engine if I can find it, and I'm not about to transmute anything I have on the board away for it anyways. So I save the Manifold Key, pass the turn. I think if they had a counterspell, they would have fought over that because they see that I clearly valued the Manifold Key. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I started just running stuff out here. I'm like, okay, I'm going to run out all of my mana, rack up my mana. I'm going to PO for everything other than Aetherflux Reservoir and the One Ring to be able to draw a bajillion and make a ton of mana. I've also got a Thoughtcast to refuel if I need it as well. So I PO for everything other than the One Ring and Aetherflux Reservoir. And they scoop it up to that one, and that ends up being the 4-0, taking down Dimir Delver. So the deck felt really good playing Vintage and Legacy. I'll address everything in the wrap-up. Well, put up a nice little 4-1 with the deck. It felt really, really good. Just kind of a side note, I will say this was probably the least diverse league that I've played in a while. Basically, all we saw was either Eldrazi or Frog decks. So I'm really hoping that's not going to be the meta going forward, but seeing some of the recent challenge results and some recent leagues and stuff, I unfortunately do think our meta is just going to mostly be Eldrazi and Frog decks going forward. Hopefully there's room for these fringe decks on the edges there, but overall, like I said, the deck felt great. It definitely felt like I was playing Vintage versus playing Legacy a few times. The play patterns of being able to just pick up a bunch of artifacts with Paradoxical Outcome, floating a bunch of mana, replay them, storming off that way, and one Paradoxical Outcome, feeling another one, felt really good. It did feel very similar to the Mystic Forge Paradoxical Engine decks, where you're just like got a Paradox Engine, a One Ring, tapping it, untapping it, drawing your whole deck, shit like that. So it definitely was a fun play pattern. It definitely felt good to be able to just pop off out of nowhere. Like there were times where it was we literally needed one card to pop off on a basically empty board other than some mana, drew that card, popped off, and managed to win the entire match. The deck is mana light despite having a whole bunch of mana rocks in it. That one game up against Dimir Delver, we saw we kind of just got mana screwed out of the game entirely. But it is something to keep in mind if you're going to play a deck similar to this. And honestly, that's kind of just combo decks in general for the most part in Legacy, whether it's artifact combo like this or you're playing a Storm deck or something. They're very mana-tight decks. But, I mean, it felt good. It felt good to actually have card draw versus the last couple of leagues that I've played. It felt good to have Force of Wills as an oh shit button, which I've been missing the last couple of leagues anyways. But overall, yeah, the deck was a blast to play. I definitely think if you're just looking for a out there kind of Storm deck, this is a way to go forward with it, and it was a ton of fun to play. But anyways, that is all for this week. That is Paradoxical Outcome Storm. I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing it. I will catch you all in the next one, and as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. They are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.